I'm sure, the upcoming technical difficulties that we'll have, but maybe not. So with that, yes, let me introduce the board while we're going through this. As I mentioned, I'm Brian Viola. I'm the president of the board. Been on the board for 8 years, 17-year resident of Brambleton. Why don't I go next to Sam as vice president? Sam, why don't you introduce yourself while we're going through
Hey, good evening, guys. My name is Sam Nandi. I've been the vice president on the board. This is my second year serving on the board here.
Next to Sam as vice president. Thank you.
All right, moving on.
Jordan, why don't you go next?
Hey everyone, name is Jordan Crowdy. I've been on the board now for a year and a resident of Brambleton for 10 years. Thanks for joining.
Sue?
Good evening, I'm Sue Wolford, secretary of the board. Got voted on when Jordan did last year, so it's nice to have an annual meeting without an election.
Yeah, right. Sure. Anand?
Hi everyone, good evening. This is Anand. I've been on a board from last 1 year, and I've been a Brambleton resident for 7 years.
Excellent. Meryl?
Hi everyone, I'm Meryl Besega. I am a developer representative, and I have been on the board since its inception, I believe about 19 years ago.
19, amazing. And Pat?
And I'm Pat Martin, and I also am a declared and appointed board member, and I too have been on the board since it was born.
Excellent. Rick, do you want to just say something about you and your staff who are on board here?
Yeah. Hey, Rick Stone. I have been with Brambleton for actually just 14 years. I just hit 14 years the other day, and also a resident of the community for almost 16 years. I am the general manager and serve at the pleasure of the board on the day-to-day operational needs for the association. Also have Andrea here, who is our community standards and admin manager. And then Isaiah Marsh is with us as well tonight. He is our operations supervisor. And we have Christine Ellensary, community engagement manager. And Nikki is also here, and she is a admin administrator and hopefully controlling the meeting. That's the staff we have on tonight. There are a couple other staff members online as well, but basically our primary management staff is here tonight with us.
Perfect. Excellent, Rick. If you want to go to slide 3, I guess.
No.
So that's
Right. Yeah,
now you can see us. There we are.
All right, next slide. So more of the agenda tonight. Basically, we're going to go over the quorum, approval of minutes. I sent the minutes out to all the attendees who were registered by 5:30 p.m. tonight. There was a couple who registered afterwards who did not get that. And then a couple presentations. There are no elections tonight, so it will be a fairly quick meeting with no elections. And then after the presentations, we'll go to the Distinguished Community Service Award, and then we'll open it up to resident forum. Basically, we'll give residents an opportunity to address the board with any matters that they may have. As part of that verification of quorum, we did meet quorum. We had to reach out to the developer to achieve quorum. They did submit 600 proxies for that to achieve the quorum. I think we received all of one paper proxy because there was no election. We typically achieve our quorum through the election process, the online election process. And so we did reach out to the developer. So we do have a quorum tonight. So this is an official meeting, which means we have the ability to adopt last year's minutes. And as I said, the minutes were sent to all the attendees. And Brian, if you want to call for a motion, one of the attendees can go ahead and make that motion by raising their hand.
Yeah, folks online, typically we on the board just go ahead and approve the prior minutes, but typically at the annual meeting, we allow the residents to go ahead and approve. So is there a motion out amongst the resident observers to approve the meeting minutes from last year? And I guess, Rick, can you see?
Nikki, anybody? Do you see that? Because I'm sharing my screen, I have limited ability to do the participants.
If someone, a participant, wouldn't
I
mind.
do see that. First on the list is Chris Cook, who's raised his
All
hand.
right, Chris.
Chris, all right. Do we have a second? And somebody raised their hand as well.
I see that Ram has raised his hand. He's on the list.
Perfect. So we have a second. So all in favor? So I guess the rest of the board can say yea or nay.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Last year's annual meeting minutes have been approved. Thank you all for your participation, for what it's worth. All right, what I'd like to do next, Rick, is there next slide, please?
Yep.
So we're going to go through some highlight videos. We decided to do videos this year pre-recorded so that they can be placed on our website after the meeting for those who couldn't attend. So I don't know who's got control. Nikki?
All right, I got it.
Start the videos, please. Hi, I'm Brian Viola, President of the Brambleton HOA, and I'd like to welcome you to this year's annual meeting. Obviously, due to COVID, we are going to be doing this meeting virtually and are pre-recording a lot of our messages so that we can put them up on our website for those folks who are unable to attend the live Zoom meeting. One of the things I'd like to highlight to you about the HOA this year is the fact that we've transitioned from a developer-controlled to a resident-controlled. And I'm very proud to be serving as the first Brambleton resident elected HOA president. With that, I'm going to turn this over to other videos to highlight what the rest of Brambleton staff has been doing this year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erica Lang with BCA, providing you with updates for 2021, starting with our budget. The BCA Board of Directors has adopted its 2021 operating budget of $15.1 million, setting the average assessment increase 1% lower than the 2021 cost of living adjustment of 1.3%. Monthly assessments will increase by an average of 57 cents. This budget addresses COVID-19 impacts on events and other income, a 3% increase for weekly trash and recycling services, the start of an urban forest management program, and a $1 monthly increase for townhome owners with BCA provided grounds maintenance. More 2021 budget and assessment information can be found on our website. We also have a few technology updates to look forward to next year in Brambleton. First, the board has approved BCA to work with the broadband group as recommended by the Community Technology Committee in order to proactively set standards and goals for future rollout of 5G cellular towers in the community. This initiative will facilitate interaction with cellular providers, keep Brambleton competitive going forward, and potentially provide a new source of non-assessment income. Resident cellular service concerns will also be addressed in a planned and comprehensive manner. Second, the Community Technology Committee will begin its review of the Verizon Extreme Fios video package in early 2021. As part of our current Verizon contract, the association will have the option to opt out or modify the video portion of the agreement effective in 2022. Currently, the video portion of the agreement includes the Extreme Fios video package and one HD set-top box with the basic DVR service. Please visit our website for more information on Verizon Fios in Brambleton.
Hi Brambleton, I'm Christine Ellensari, Community Engagement Manager for the association. Just wanted to provide you with a quick update on events and programming in 2020. While we were not expecting all of our major events to be canceled this year, our lifestyles team quickly shifted focus. We started brainstorming new ideas to create events like the Egg Hunt on the Trail, the Biggest Catch Fishing Contest, and the virtual wine tasting event. And as we moved into phase 2, we introduced our neighborhood pop-up events, which is basically a movie or live music at a community park. We also figured out a way to move forward with a COVID-safe neighborhood campout, drive-through shred event, and Pictures with Santa. In terms of programming, we were able to still keep our outdoor fitness classes running, and we also hosted a few summer camps. Now, as we head into 2021, the future of events is still unknown, but what we do know is that there will be no big festivals or large gatherings, at least through the first part of the year. We are hopeful we can get something going in the fall, but we just really need to take it one day at a time. As for our programs, we will continue to offer what we can and hope to have summer camp information available next year. So in the meantime, our team will continue to look for ways to keep the community engaged. So just stay tuned to the Friday Flash and our Facebook page and make sure you don't miss out on anything. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you have any ideas you would like to share, feel free to send an email to events@brambleton.org. We would love to hear from you. Thank you and have a great evening.
Hi Brambleton, I'm Andrea Dow, your Community Standards and Administration Manager. With remote working and online education, we've seen a huge increase in applications for residents who want to modify the exterior of their home. The Community Standards staff and Covenants Committee members have shown incredible stamina in a year when applications for architectural modifications doubled in numbers for the second and third quarter when compared to last year. A special thanks goes out to the Covenants Committee and our staff whom continue to keep up with the workload despite the difficulties of remote meetings and the obstacles that COVID presents to the design review process. This is why now it's more important than ever to plan ahead for your exterior projects. This year, our department has implemented a new GPS-based software which brings efficiency in completing inspections and has greatly improved section-specific correspondence with residents. In 2021, we look forward to implementing the architectural module of this software to better track and process our applications to completion. In addition, we're looking to bring resale disclosure packets in-house, which will save money and produce income for the association. As always, you can contact us at communitystandards@brambleton.org. We look forward to helping you.
Hello, my name is Isaiah. I'm the Grounds and Facilities Supervisor for the association. To say it's been a busy year for the operations department would be an understatement. Our team has really stepped up to the plate with the onset of COVID. We've seen a large increase in the use of our trail system, parks, tot lots, and courts during this pandemic. This has led to extra safety measures being taken, such as our crews are doing an extra midweek trash run, an extra checkup on the courts weekly, and then they're also disinfecting tot lots twice a week. Our crews have also installed 15 new trash cans throughout the trails during this time. They've added plexiglass and sanitizing stations to each of our facilities as well. The association has also started an urban forest management plan, which is set to begin in 2021. With the aging of this community, also come the struggles of dead, dying, overcrowded, and diseased trees. We have found areas where trees were planted too close together, which can eventually cause healthy trees to die off. After consulting with an arborist, we have learned that the best way to address overplanting is selective removal and pruning in order to keep the remaining trees in good health. We are currently working with our arborist to begin this process, and we're also looking to include native plantings for the betterment of the community. We've installed a pollinator garden, and we're looking to install a few more next year. These gardens add color and interest to the landscape while helping conserve and attract native pollinators. As always, if you have any questions, you can email me at operations@brambleton.org.
All right. So as you can see, staff's been busy, really adjusting to COVID this year. Really threw a loop in all our operations, from what we've known and done in the past. You think you get into the groove, you got the budgets in place, you got the staffing in place, you're ready to bring on another year, and then you get COVID. So I think staff and the board has done a great job, adjusting to it kind of on the fly, as regulations and restrictions changed, weekly, sometimes daily, on the information that we received from the state and from CDC. I think everybody really just did an outstanding job in dealing with that. The COVID did delay a survey that we were planning on doing. Originally, we were planning on kicking off this survey in the spring, and we put it on hold to kind of thought we'd get through COVID. And then we finally said, well, let's just go ahead and run it. Our opinions, or our questions, I should say, really haven't changed at all from what we initially wanted. We reviewed it a couple times and felt it, appropriate to send out this fall, not seeing a real end to COVID anytime soon. So we were very pleased with the response we got. We had nearly 1,500 residents respond to the survey, which is almost a 25% response rate. The goal of the survey really is trying to just to put a mark on kind of service levels of the associations and residents' kind of thoughts around the services offered by the association, and to use this survey going forward and run it the same or a similar survey, either once a year or once every couple of years, really to see what trends and what changes are happening out there. And I think with the high response rate, it was a good start. And we had some pretty nice takeaways from it. It was 16 questions. I guess that's basically just closed on October 20th. So this is the first time we're really putting these results out to the public. We will put the full survey results out on our website after this meeting later this week. Some takeaways we had. Of the 1,500 residents that responded, 98% of them were homeowners. So that's a very high rate there. Of that, it was pretty equally broken down from the time that you'd lived in Brambleton, that the respondents had lived in Brambleton. The one drop was the 8 to 10, but that's really only 3 years versus all the others are 4 years. That's maybe something we adjust, and that you can see pretty much, I think it'll be pretty equal across the board if we made that adjustment. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability to do that now with the data that we have. But future surveys will probably put those at four-year increments. The big takeaway, 94% of the respondents would recommend Brambleton to a friend or family member as a great place to live. Staff jokes the other 6% just don't like their friends or families. But seriously, the 94% is a great rate, and really I think a great indicator of everybody's efforts and towards what we have, and are continuing to look at what services and products we deliver to the residents and how we adjust with the times. Good value. So 70% of residents feel our assessments are good value. It might go kind of hand in hand with the below question of the 77%. There's a lot of talk out there that we're seeing an increase in questioning why are we still doing video as part of the contract. Does video, the cost of the video impact our assessments? It could in some people's mind. The other thing I don't think residents probably thought about when they answered this question is the $40 that they're saving on the actual Verizon package by being part of the bulk agreement. With the free box and free DVR and free routers part of that package. The one thing we did go through when we were in negotiations with Verizon is basically it saves the average resident $40 just by including those. So you look at all that, what's the takeaway? It's tough to really tell, but it'll be interesting to see how that trends in future years. And then overall 4 out of 5 rating, both for the overall services that we provide, our general areas of the association, from the parks and the pools and covenants and governance and communication. So I was pleased with a 4 out of 5. It was right there. It was like a 3.98, I think it was. And then the nice thing I kind of take away was that COVID really didn't impact that. So if you look at it from a COVID, I think, the majority of the residents were happy in the manner that we handled COVID. And, some of the closures were tough at first, but I think the majority of the residents understood what we did, trying to get communication out, trying to, push out CDC and state restrictions and really go hand in hand with what the state and the county were doing. And I think it, overall, it was well received by our residents. There were, a couple hundred comments that we're still sifting through and trying to see what trends we have with the open forum comments sections that were there. But what are we doing good and what can we do better? So we'll continue to sift through those and try to come up with some sort of summary there. So that's it for the survey. Like I said, we'll put that out on the website here, the full results of the survey. But these are some of the highlights. The next video we have is the developer's video. The developer is just at the initial process of doing some rezonings on a few parcels in and around Brambleton that they wanted to share some basic initial details with you all. So that's our next video I'm going to go to.
Hi, my name is Colleen Gillis. I'm an attorney with Cooley, and I've had the pleasure and the privilege of working with Brambleton for close to 20 years. And I want to take a moment and talk to you a little bit about where we're going from here. As we look at the future of Brambleton, we're looking predominantly at the southern portion of Brambleton, where there's a number of undeveloped, yet to be developed parcels. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But one other area that we're looking at is in our northwest corner of our property. And Brambleton in recent years has acquired just a couple of parcels there, one that it owns and one that's under contract, and looking at just a small accretive addition to Brambleton in the northwest corner of the community. We'll have more details on that application as it gets more refined and we better understand what it is that we can do with that property. But with regard to active applications in the county, wanted to talk predominantly about the southern portion of Brambleton. The first case I want to talk to you about, and it is located south of Shreveport, as the name would suggest. Shreveport Drive, what was called Shreveport Drive, is now named Evergreen Mills Road, and that's on the north side of the application. The Broad Run floodplain is on the south side of this application area. Also north of Shreveport Drive / Evergreen Mills Road is existing Brambleton community, homes that are currently occupied, as well as the Birchwood community. This development, this property today, is currently zoned PDIP, which stands for Planned Development Industrial Park. That designation is the same designation as many of the properties in Data Center Alley up on Loudoun County Parkway have, and this designation, the zoning category, permits by right data centers along with other industrial uses. But Brambleton, over the many years that it's been developing, has paid careful attention to what uses are located next to and proximate to one another. In this case, the developer of Brambleton has wondered and believes very strongly that industrial developments such as data centers or other uses like that don't belong right across the street from existing high quality, beautiful residential. As a result, we're asking for the county to rezone the property to permit residential development on this property. And we think it's a better compatible use, creates a much more beautiful corridor, and we are in the process of asking for that with the county. Included with the south of Shreveport property is what we're calling North Star East. And this property is located in the southeast corner of the intersection of North Star Boulevard and Evergreen Mills Road. Best way to think about where this is located is it's located directly across North Star Boulevard from the brand new CVS. This property is currently zoned PDH4, which is a housing category, but it's expected to be administered for a retail development here. And obviously we've got the retail that's located on the west side of North Star Boulevard, and we are looking at what makes sense here. Is it more retail or is it additional housing? The countywide comp plan is calling for residential in this area. So as a component of this application, we're asking for the county to consider rezoning the property in alignment with their own vision document, the countywide comp plan, and asking for residential development there. There may be an opportunity for additional commercial, maybe some retail, or other non-residential uses to be located here, but we're working with our consultants and experts to determine whether or not this is at all viable. Obviously, in the era of Amazon.com and other e-commerce sites, we think it's challenging to get bricks and mortar retail to be successful here, but we'll wait and hear from our consultants. The final application I want to talk to you about is this application, which is located on the very southern edge of Brambleton, south of the Broad Run floodplain, and that Broad Run floodplain will remain in perpetuity as a natural environment, not be developed. This property, which is located just on the north side of what was formerly known as Evergreen Mills Road and is now called Arcola Mills Drive. This property is split zoned. You've got planned development general industry here, which is a heavier zoning category than I talked about with the PDIP. And then we've got countryside residential that's located on the western portion of this property. It's split zoned. But more importantly, we've got a designation here in the comp plan that calls for more industrial uses all along this corridor. As a result, the developer of Brambleton is requesting a rezoning to bring this property in conformance with the county's comprehensive plan. We've submitted an application to rezone the property to PDIP, Planned Development Industrial Park, similar to what is existing and by right here. We're asking to do industrial here in large part because it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, and it's also in the overflight area for Dulles Airport. Planes fly over this area quite a bit. Obviously, louder planes are more compatible with a more industrial use here. This designation of zone to PDIP will be consistent with a property that was already rezoned to PDIP a couple of years back called Brambleton Business Campus. And as the developer of Brambleton will be looking to develop that as well with offices, data centers, or other non-residential uses. We're at the very beginning stages of these rezoning applications. And so we will go through an iterative process and continue to receive feedback from the Board of Supervisors, the Planning Commission, and staff. And as we receive that information, our plans will be refined, and we'll continue to keep you apprised as we progress towards public hearing and hopeful approval of these applications. Many people call Northern Virginia home, but we're particularly proud and grateful of the people who choose to call Brambleton home. This community is vibrant and gets more vibrant every single year, with new residents coming in, new connections being formed, new friendships being made, and honestly, the enhancement of the community from top to bottom. As we move forward and as we add to this community, we think about how we are adding to the fabric of Brambleton, and we think that it will make it an even better community for generations to come. As I mentioned earlier, we're very early in the stages of these rezoning applications, and we look forward to hosting future webinars for you and your neighbors to learn more about these applications. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us at info@brambleton.com. Thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you at a future webinar.
All right. If anyone wants a good nature trail to walk on, Colleen was hitting on that area along the Broad Run. There's some great natural trails down through there that the developers put in. And if you're looking for something to do on a decent fall sunny day, it's a great place to go explore. Basically goes the entire length of the Broad Run from Belmont Ridge Road down to Birchwood. So, all right, next up is our Distinguished Community Service Award. Brian, you got that?
Oh, I got it right here. So, it's, I guess the cat's out of the bag to some of these folks. It won't be such a surprise, but maybe not all of them know. So this year's Distinguished Community Service Award goes to, you can go to the next slide, please. Drum roll, please. Slide. Oh, there it is, the entire Covenants Committee. So this is the first time the recognition has been given to the entire committee. The Covenants Committee is responsible for the review and approval of exterior modification applications. Everyone on the committee, led by Chairman Chris Cook, has worked diligently to keep up with the near 200% increase in applications during COVID-19. The committee has also had to meet more frequently and adapt its review process through Zoom. Recognition and special thanks go out to the Covenants Committee for their dedication and devotion to keep up with the workload despite the difficulties and obstacles COVID-19 presented to the design review process. We would like to recognize and thank Chair Chris Cook, Pamela Keegan, Harsha Sarjapur, Jason Lopez, Andrea Painter, Brian Martin, and Daryl Lanzi. I would also like to thank the community standards staff for their efforts to support the committee in the ever-changing process over the past year. Guys, congratulations. I served on that committee once a long time ago, and it is a pain. So you guys all do deserve this award. So congrats to you all.
Thank you.
Is there, do they know what they're getting? So Andrew, so we
Chris
tell them?
Cook. I see Chris Cook on the line.
Chris Cook, oh, there's Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, congratulations to you and the committee. You want
Thank
to
you.
do you want to say a couple words?
Just on behalf of the committee, thank you so much. It has been, as you said, with COVID times, I think this is the one committee that we benefit well meeting in person. So being able to adapt and on top of the applications doubling, we've all come together and I think it's been great. And I really, on behalf of the committee, thank you so much for this recognition.
Excellent, Chris.
Great.
Well,
Thank you, Chris.
Job
Thank
well
you,
done.
Chris.
So
Thanks.
anyway, moving to the next portion, I guess, Rick, we're going to get to the resident forum. I know there were a couple of questions submitted prior to the meeting's start. We may start with those questions, but then I I guess, Rick, we're going to ask people to raise their hands through Zoom.
Yep.
And we'll ask that anybody who wants to speak, we're going to kind of limit you to a minute. Hopefully that'll be enough to answer or to ask your question. If we certainly have an answer, we'll try to give it to you. If not, we'll make sure that staff gets back to you as soon as possible with that question. So who has the questions that were submitted prior?
So I've got a couple questions here that I'll kick off with.
Okay, go.
One was about the Olympia and Ryan Road traffic light. They're just looking for an update on that. That is something that the developer has initiated, and it's in progress. Basically with not a deadline, but a projected rate or projected completion time of May or June timeframe, May, June 2021. That is obviously subject to change based on permitting and availability and all that. But that is moving forward, and we should see that in 2021. And that's a traffic light there at Olympia and Ryan Road. The other question that comes up frequently is what's the association doing to improve safety conditions at Belmont Ridge Road and Legacy Park Drive? And this is something, over the years we've worked with or been involved with discussions at the county and VDOT level, and there's a lot of hurdles to get over with this intersection. Ultimately, it is a VDOT and county responsibility. It's not something the HOA really has much say. We can support or consider support of changes to this intersection, but ultimately it needs to meet VDOT standards, and the VDOT standards are the hurdles at this point. Some people want, or some, the thought of a traffic light, I should say, there is desired. The problem today is that a traffic light requires a warrant study. A warrant study often looks for similar volumes of traffic on both roads. And today you don't have that on Belmont Ridge Road and Legacy. There's a significantly different difference in the volume of traffic. They also look for accident data. Yes, there's been accidents there, but I guess not enough to fly any red flags from VDOT's perspective. So those are some hurdles that we'll have to continue to work with VDOT and try to get them to understand the desires of the community. Other residents have or the thought of putting some sort of pedestrian crossing there. And the biggest hurdle there today is VDOT standards do not allow non-signalized pedestrian crossings on roads with speed limits of 40 miles an hour or greater, or 40 or greater. I think up to 40. So it's greater than 40, excuse me. So the speed would have to be dropped, lowered to 40 miles an hour at a minimum. And even then, what does that get you? Because the concern there is it's still non-signalized. And the safety concerns, I think, would still remain whether it was 40 or 45. So there's some hurdles there. So that's all we've got today. Supervisor Buffington's office, I believe, has it on their budget down the road, I think 2025 or 26, several years out. And that's really the push that we need is from the county's office to get VDOT moving. So more to come there, but that's kind of where we're at, and that's why we're not seeing anything significant there. There was also the one last question I received was about the timing of plantings on Belmont Ridge Road. So the board recently approved basically a streetscaping enhancement program, which includes landscaping. And it's along Belmont Ridge Road where you just have basically the two soldier courses of trees from Ryan Road to Legacy Park Drive. The board recently approved $75,000 to basically create an understory there that would be more in line with the rest of Belmont Ridge Road. The board also initiated basically a review of all major roads in Brambleton to see where additional landscaping is needed. And that's something that the grounds and facilities company will be taking on here over the next couple months. But as for the timing of the actual landscaping on Belmont Ridge Road, we are looking for a spring planting. So that will happen this coming spring 2021. Those are the questions I have at this time.
Yeah,
Rick, I think there was a question asking if somebody could opt out of the video, and that was somewhat answered by the video talking about our current service, right?
Opt out of what? Out of the
video portion
video?
of Verizon.
Yeah, currently it is a bulk agreement and there is no opt-out option where they, at this time, that was just part of the agreement with Verizon.
But
That's
that'll
always
be
been the case.
reviewed in 2021.
Yeah, that'll be reviewed this upcoming year and moving forward. I think, personally, I think a lot has changed in the streaming since the committee and the board initially reviewed this. I think there's a lot of hesitation because streaming just wasn't there. Remember, it goes back 3 or 4 years.
I think it's important to note, Rick, that at the time we took that survey, I thought it was only 54, perhaps 56% of the residents wanted to keep the video portion. So it wasn't a large majority, though a majority it was. So it was a very close vote. And I know 2022 will be here before we know it. So we'll be readdressing this, or at the end of next year, we'll be readdressing this for sure. So
yeah, the board will, and the committee will actually probably begin, late winter, early spring, and the residents can expect a survey on that of some sort to get that kind of public opinion or resident opinion.
Yep. So again, back to questions. I guess if you don't want to speak live to the board here, I see there are 2 questions posted in the chat comments. Rick, do you want to start them off, or?
Yeah, Andrew, Nikki, if you can pull them up. I just want to remind residents that if you can have broader questions, we've got kind of the resident forum guidelines on screen. We are looking for community, I don't want to say community-wide, but broader questions, not personal questions about, a specific thing on your lot or your back, the common area behind your house, but kind of greater, larger picture. The board has the ability, they may just take it as a comment and take it, discuss it later. We may be able to respond to some of these. I think we've allowed basically 15 minutes for this, or whatever we need, based on what the board and the president want to do here.
Yeah, I mean, we can, let's see what questions pop up. So I guess first, there's no one who wants to address the board based.
We got 2 raised hands, I see.
It looks like Satish has.
And Satish,
written as well as a hand up.
Yeah.
Can you make them live, Nikki?
Sure.
Okay. I think we just answered Ben's question, did we not? Hang on, we'll go to Satish. Go ahead.
This is live.
Okay. Satish, are you there?
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Satish.
Hello, Satish.
Hello.
Yeah.
Nope, there you go.
Hi. Good evening. Thank you for giving me opportunity for talking on the annual board meeting. I am a resident of Brambleton community. So we had a discussion on August month regarding the thefts, as well as overnight people were roaming and lot of things were happening. So being a community, few people recommended few of the changes that needs to be incorporating from community. So we did not see any kind of improvements from board, and I don't know, because 2020 is almost getting over. So at least we would like to see some good improvements in 2021, and that will be really helpful for all the residents, which we are already making payments every month, and we will encourage to see some good improvements. So what kind of measures that exactly taken from the thefting side, which we were reporting? Can you provide some information on that?
Well, I guess
improvements in regards to what? Is this the break-ins, the vehicle break-ins on?
Yes, vehicle breaking, doors knocking, doors opening, all kind of things. Still, some of the incidents are happening, and some residents are still reporting those incidents. We are seeing quite often, some midnight, some people are roaming, in the community, and they are doing all kind of things. So we are even reporting to Loudoun County Sheriff Departments, but at least we want, board also to just take a look at and see what, good improvements you guys can do from residents' safer side.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of the same actions we shared that night. The association continues to work with Loudoun County Sheriff's Department, bring any concerns to their attention. The Sheriff's Department attends the Safety and Security Committee meeting each month or every other month. We've been continuing to promote the 9 p.m. routine. That's a Loudoun County Sheriff's Office program where we've been moving the association message board throughout the community every 3 or 4 days. It's moved to a new location where it's, reminds residents to lock doors, turn on lights, remove valuables. As far as people walking the streets after a certain hour, we really can't do anything there. This is something that's up to the Sheriff's Department and really their responsibility. So that's basically our program today, is to continue to work with and let Loudoun County Sheriff's Office take the lead on this.
Hey, Rick, this is Jordan. Just one other note. We also did make it a little simpler to get a camera.
Yes, good point.
And
So,
maybe,
go ahead.
Maybe Andrea, or you could explain how that changed.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So cameras no longer need an application and have to go through the application review process with the Covenants Committee, provided they are installed and comply with the guidelines stated in our design guidelines. So we've streamlined the process to allow people to go ahead and install them without an application.
Perfect. Thank you, Satish. Next question is, I guess, Ben Sage. And Ben, did we answer your question earlier? I know Rick went over the landscaping and where it was going to be. Did we answer your question? Either you can type it in, or if somebody wants to let Ben in, if he's still available.
Ben Sage.
Nope, I caught the end of it. Okay, there's Ben. Hey, Ben, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, yep. So go ahead. Why don't you restate your question so everybody can hear it, and then, hopefully Rick can address it.
Rick was talking about the landscaping on Belmont Ridge. I just missed where on Belmont Ridge that was going to be.
Yep, fair enough.
So the landscaping is on Belmont Ridge Road from Ryan Road heading south to Legacy Park Drive. It's basically where there's just those, on both sides of the street, there's 2 rows of trees running up with no understory plantings. And that planting of the understory will begin in spring of 2021.
Okay. And the urban forest management, is that for common areas only, I'm guessing?
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rick, anything else out there? There's nothing else on the chat.
Yeah, we've got 3 hands raised. I will promote
there we go.
All right, there you go. New rule.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This
Hey,
is Nabil
how are
Rahman.
you,
I
sir?
live. Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, hey, just wanted to thank everybody for the support this year on some of the efforts around Belmont Ridge and the updates recently given about the streetscaping project, as well as the intersection around Legacy Road. I just wanted to also kind of bring up some of the ongoing concerns around generally traffic on Belmont Ridge, just increasing volume of trucks, a lot of what seems to be almost race car type traffic going on Belmont Ridge. And wanted to bring that up to the community as we generally look to improve the community, to see how we can kind of make that road more safer, for everybody. What can be done? I know Rick mentioned some of the stuff around challenges with VDOT and the county, but kind of just looking to see how we can work as a community to bring more traffic calming around Belmont Ridge. So any ideas in terms of additional safety signs or reduction of speed limit? How can we as residents try to influence that and get further HOA support, board member, traction to make a difference on that road? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I know you and I did exchange emails on that, and I know you've reached out to Tony Buffington's office, and certainly I would be in support of it. I mean, as you found out, there's lots of things that go into a VDOT oriented road that'll take some time in order to accomplish, and one of those is being North Star opening up all the way down to through the community and beyond. So certainly say I think I can speak for the majority of the board here that we're in support of such, but our hands are somewhat tied for the moment until North Star opens completely. But we'll certainly keep an eye on that for sure.
Brian, I think a reminder is sometimes you see people drive down that road very fast and then turn into our community. So they may be residents of our community. So we need to make sure we ourselves are safe.
I never drive fast, Sue. Is that what you're insinuating? No, that's absolutely fair. So yes, perhaps we can look into that at a different meeting on, maybe just reminding your residents to slow down. I know we posted the mobile sign out there a couple of times, having people check their speed, maybe not on that road, but on the side roads leading off of it. But yeah, certainly a valid point, Sue. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick, next question.
All right, we got Satish.
Wasn't he just on?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you again. Just have one question. So what is the improvement plan for 2021? You guys have any plan already made, or what are the major goals that you are trying to achieve in 2021?
For the entire budget, or?
Yeah, budget overall. I mean, I'm asking from every aspect.
From every aspect. So our budget document, I'm happy to forward that to you. It does have the highlights on there. With COVID, there wasn't any really major new initiatives, so to speak. We are doing, as Isaiah mentioned earlier, the urban forest management plan. We've got some new software coming in for possibly pool passes. We've got, I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Well, you mentioned one, Rick, the Verizon contract is coming due. So, I mean, that's going to be a major change for a lot of people here in the community by the end of next year. So
yeah,
we got the streetscaping as well.
Streetscaping, so some capital projects moving forward. I'm happy to forward you. So I know it's something we've put out, is our assessment for 2021 with the highlights. I'm happy to, and I'll email that the full document to you as well. And it's on our website as well under the 2021 budget page.
Yeah, Rich, when you have some time, if you can just send me all those details, I'll also take a look at it. And, if you have any more suggestions, recommendations, as a community, we will all, recommend few of the recommendations, whatever we feel better for the community.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I know Ram just mentioned about 5G coming. So that's, something the community is actively engaged in as well. So anybody else out there, Rick?
Yeah, we got Song In.
Again, hello.
Yes, I posed the original question regarding the safety concerns of Belmont Ridge Road and Legacy Park Drive. So thank you, Rick, for addressing those during this meeting. I want to follow up because I have since had email exchanges with Tony Buffington's office, as well as a meeting with a legislative aide from his office, Robin Bartok. And some of the things that we discussed were potentially trying to label that section where the elementary school is as a school zone. It's something that she felt like was a good opportunity to decrease the traffic speed there. And as she also mentioned, a major issue as far as the enforcement of speed. She has been in touch with the sheriff's office, and whenever they try to send the officers out to enforce speed, the residents are informing others that the officers are there and the speed traps are there. And so she has encouraged the residents to stop doing that in order to promote the decreased traffic in such a way. So thank you so much for addressing this issue.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up.
All right, last call. That's all we've got as far as raised hands.
Folks, we'll give you one more minute. Anybody who's still in attendance who wants to ask a question. Going once. Going twice. Beautiful. All right. I think that's it, Rick, for the resident forum. You know, folks, certainly you can answer or ask any questions. Just send an email to the BCA. There was lots of email addresses provided earlier on to the different segments of the BCA. So if you have any questions with specifics, just go ahead and send them there. So
Yeah, send anything to HOA@brambleton.org. That gets to us.
Oh, there you go.
And distributed between numerous staff members. And we're happy to answer any questions and provide you any information. You know, we really believe in a transparent operation and willing to share with you anything we have, minutes, financials, budgets, etc.
Perfect. With that, I think, why don't we adjourn the meeting? Is there a motion to adjourn? Can we do that from us here, Rick, or do we have to go out to the folks?
Actually, the folks, I see a hand.
They all want to get off this
See a
call.
couple hands. Brian made the motion. Ram seconded.
All right. All in
First
favor?
two hands I saw.
All right.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Great.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
It was a painless meeting. Thanks for making it all run very smoothly. So
Good night.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
one
guys.
and all. Good night.
good night, all.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy
Oh,
Diwali.
Thanksgiving.
Indeed.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Guys, thank
Thanksgiving.
you.
Happy Diwali.
All right.
Diwali.